You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
So they're working on that as well. And also, when you go to coasttocoastam.com, take a look at the preview for the new website, which will be coming out very soon as well. We'll be back in a moment with John Rhodes on Coast to Coast AM. And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you, John Rhodes. John, let's talk about these reptilians. In the biblical days, when, they said the devil came, and the description is kind of close to some of these reptilians. Is it possible that these demons, these devils, might be the reptilians?
I believe entirely that might be the case because we have to see it from their historical point of view. They didn't know the term alien, or they weren't thinking of things that God could have created other than themselves. That's the old way of thinking, but that's where they were. And to have something like that appear, if it's not an angel, then it's otherwise classified, which immediately meant a demon. And, of course, that surrendered all your power to the church again. And that's just where, in ancient times, they originally intended to go to be a spiritual leader for humanity, but ended up being, in many cases, a corrupted institution that just wants to have you confess to them and so they can manipulate you and your consciousness.
The evil side of the reptilians, what do they want? What are they after?
Some people have said that they believe that the intentions of demonic or evil reptilian humanoids are to somehow agitate you into certain types of physical states so they can drink or take from your auric field the energies of your body. I guess this is very Matrix-like when you think of the person being kept in the pod where just their life juices are being used for their little alien ever-ready batteries. But in cases where that's concerned, if we're talking about interdimensional beings, there's a potential for something to be milking us at times, just like there is with the rest of nature. We see it in many cases where animals create a symbiotic relationship. As long as they're not harming each other and it's not unhealthy, then it's a symbiosis that's reached and it's okay. But some of the evil ones, they want to whip you up into a state of terror or fear, and when you do that, you're immediately giving all your power away. And you and I know that. We've lived long enough to know that when you sit there locked in fear, you're immediately, giving all of your power away to whoever is the first one there that you think can handle the situation or have an answer for you. But we're coming towards an age of personal responsibility because your superconscious has a chance to launch out from here in many lifetimes to come if you just ride this wave of energy we're about to be hit with and take every aspect of yourself, the good part and the bad part. And, that bad part of nature, which is expressed in these reptilian humanoids, is there just as much as it is expressed in humans. So, the reasons they're doing these can come down to the energy fields, also disinformation purposes, because they don't want us to perhaps appreciate or like what might be headed this way, which is a reference I'm making to the legends and lores and also modern beliefs in many cases in which we experiencers have said that they have been told that there's an approaching wave of reptilian humanoids coming back to this planet that left a long time ago, and that when they return, this is going to be the return of the feathered serpent gods as they were known in ancient times. And you and I have talked about that as far as the Mexico activity. But the evil ones are out there, and some of them just as much not like human, just as certain people don't like other animals, and they're treated as such. Another thing we've got to remember is that when a person encounters something that looks like that, they're immediately so locked in fear because their brain is saying that their life is forever changed from this point on of what they're seeing, that it's real easy to be absolutely terrified and come out of this feeling terrified, even though it may not have been an aggressive mood or a mean move at all physically by the alien or the reptoid. But they're there. Don't get me wrong. They're there, and we have to be very vigilant and aware that they can be just as evil, if not a hell of a lot more evil than even humans have ever possibly expressed themselves to be.
And you just mentioned interdimensional. I was going to ask you that these visitations, are people seeing them in craft or are they just appearing?
Both. They appear in rooms, just as the Greys have appeared to human experiencers and contactees. We have also had reports come in where they've seen them on craft, and more interestingly, underground, where they know that they were underground. Apparently, the family of ours that we are not allowed to know about on this planet, there's a great number of them that live underground, and they've sought refuge there in ancient times because of the different types of disasters that could befall us, because the sun, the things like we were expecting, like Mitch Patros Network, they talk about the sun having the potential for destroying surface life on Earth. They recognized that a long time ago, and they all took off underground, except we're just sitting out here like sitting ducks, you know, and people can talk all they want about getting out of the way, but, you know, these ancient cultures have gotten out of the way a long time ago, and we need to probably reinvent America by moving populations from the shorelines, bringing them inland, and thinking large subterranean cities so we would have saved energy from heating and cooling, and also protection from anything above. We need to reinvent American civil defense, and potentially this is the kind of thing that experiencers are coming back from feeling like has to be done.
How many other cryptos or UFO researchers are beginning to study the reptilian humanoid phenomena?
Not many cryptozoologists per se, because when you are investigating, you know, life on this earth, as soon as you start thinking or saying, talking about advanced potential for intelligence and communication, you're already considered fringe even in that field, because they're trying to give themselves as much credibility as they can in a field that's already disregarded by mainstream science. So, no, not many people in cryptozoology have launched into it. But on the other hand, a lot of interested researchers and lecturers and authors now more and more are starting to focus in on this, because, like I said, it's here now, and it's a happening thing.
John, with this work that you do, and you do key in primarily on the reptilian end of it, is there anything that you have found that shows that in the ancient days that these reptilians battled other ETs on this planet?
The Mahabharata, the ancient Indian works, have clearly demonstrated through their descriptions that the people who were writing these things down and storing memory on different types of artifacts and papers, they were trying to record a war in heaven. And when we think of the terms that they even used in the war in heaven, we have to look as far back as the original war in heaven, that story that was passed down through modern religious works, such as the Christian works in the Bible, where we're talking about Archangel Michael and his angels fighting the dragon and his angels. So we're looking at that same type of biblical prophecy. The Arabs have the same thing when they talk about the different things that are supposedly coming to pass. In addition to that, Mesoamericans have spoken openly about their beliefs that Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, is going to be returning back to the earth to have a mainstream presence here once again, and to reestablish his kingdom.
Well, once that happens, then we're all in for one heck of a time, John, aren't we?
Absolutely. All of the symbols are coming together, even the fact that we have the crossing, the transit of Venus across the surface of the sun, which is occurring on I think it's June 8th, 2012. The dead center of the path will actually take it directly over Central America and Mexico. And if we think about the solar eclipse and what happened down over Mexico in July 11th, 1991, we might be seeing another serpent symbol that's associated with, also Venus is associated with Christ and Lucifer, all of them, all of these ancient, important religious icons, and they all seem to be coming to a culminating symbolic convergence around this period of time. At the same time, we're expecting these solar pulses from the sun that, because the longer it stays still, the more it's going to ramp up and start hitting us hard. And when these things occur, I know I'm getting off the question, but when these things occur, it's important to know that our